It's been almost 4 years since PlayStation released anything with the PS5 console. They tried the Slim and they tried to tantalize us within the years, but the PS5 Pro is finally here with the whopping $699 price tag. Good Lord. Today we're gonna dive deep into what makes this console tick. Is it worth upgrading from your current PS5, or should you hold out for the next generation? Stick around to find out if the PS5 Pro deserves your money. It's that time again when WCP is doing drop videos for consoles. Oh, what a time to be alive. Let's go! What's going on, everybody? WCP back at it after what seems to be forever and a day since we were saying, Target is live! Target is live! If you know, you know. PS5 has shaken the gaming world up with the release and launch of pre-orders on September 26th. For the PS5 Pro, we need to know if it's worth our money or not. I'm going to tell you some of the highlights, some of the lowlights of this brand new console that Sony is going to be producing come November 7th, 2024. It sounds crazy because, like I said, it's almost been 4 years since the release of the PlayStation and the hysterics that went along with the console drops of November 2020. Let's jump straight into the particulars and let's get it poppin', baby. Let's start with everything the PS5 Pro has to offer compared to its predecessor, the PS5. On the PlayStation 5 Pro section of the PlayStation website, you get to see some of the specs that the PlayStation 5 Pro is offering. The spectral super resolution, 4K, up to 4K natural, instead of scaling up to 4K. You get optimized console performance that will reach 120 hertz on displays. You get advanced ray tracing. I mean, as best as it can be. But in terms of the console world, it is the best ray tracing that consoles have to offer. And then you get the PS5 Pro enhanced games, The Last of Us Part 1 and 2, Demon Souls, Gran Turismo 7, and Forbidden West will all be compatible with the latest features of the PS5 Pro. But you want to play at 60 frames per second or up to 120 frames per second with 4K output and ray tracing for compatible games, the PS5 Pro is for you. And then the sleek design of the PS5 Pro, and this is where it gets a little debatable. A lot of people are wondering why the PS5 Pro stock version does not come with a disk drive. That's right, the disk drive has to be bought separately if you would like to play the disc. Though I don't think that's too much of a game breaker for me because all my games are digital, so I don't really worry about that. But as you can see, the design of the PS5 Pro is much slimmer. It's not as slim as the PS5 Slim, but it is smaller than the original PS5. And with that being said, it proves to be a much powerful system than the PS5, even coming in a smaller package. As you can see, you get 2 terabytes of storage, next level online wireless connectivity, and PS5 Pro Game Boost and backwards compatibility. PS4 games are playable on the PS5 console. And then with the new Edge controller that they released a couple years back, it fits all the same with the PS5 Pro. DualSense wireless controller with the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. That's just a reskin on what they released a couple of years ago, but spectacular visuals at lightning speed, ultra high speed SSD, integrated I/O, and vibrant colors and crisp 4K graphics with the same audio quality in the Tempest 3D audio tech if you get the headsets. Where will play take you? Is this enough to make you purchase the PS5 Pro? That's some of the highlights. Let's get into the nitty gritty. First off, it's $700. That's the nit, the grit, and the itty.
You're right. You're joking about that, right?
$700 for a console, the most expensive console that has ever hit the markets. A lot of people are in agreement that $700 is way too expensive for a console in this day and age for gaming. Or is it? Let's take a deeper dive into what that $700 actually will get you in the PS5 Pro. Let's start with the memory. The PS5 began originally with 800 gigs of internal memory. Well, the PS5 Pro is touting a 2 terabyte internal memory storage capacity. In the grand scheme of things, memory is still not cheap. We're talking about a full terabyte extra of memory space. In comparison, that's 999 plus gigabytes of data that can be stored on the PS5 Pro. And that's gonna run you around anywhere between $89 to $119, depending on where you get it from. A terabyte of memory is pretty expensive when you think about it. So we're already past the $500 price that the PS5 came out at. So we're gonna add on an additional $100 just for the memory that the PS5 Pro gives you. So we're already at $600. Let's look further into the upscaled resolution. With the PS5 Pro, there's a 40% difference in increase in the graphics or the GPU that the PS5 promotes. So with a 40% increase in the graphics, well, if you look at modern day graphics cards for PCs, they're not cheap either. So the additional 40% would stand to reason that it's an additional $100, bringing the total past $700. There's also the naturally hitting 120 frames per second at 4K, and there's no drop in performance. A lot of times, and this is where a lot of people miss the debate, it always says that the PlayStation could hit 4K 120 frames per second. Well, it can hit that. It's not about necessarily hitting it. It's about maintaining. And with the PS5 Pro, they tout that you'll be able to maintain up to 120 frames per second instead of the dips that a lot of our PS5 games would experience. If a game like God of War Ragnarok came out and was locked at 120 frames per second per se, it would still drop below this 120 frames per second at times, depending on if the battle was intense or if there was a lot of things happening on the screen in terms of resolution. Well, the PS5 Pro aims to combat that and will more natively stay at 60 frames per second for a game like God of War. It has the ability to support 8K gaming, even though there's no games being developed right now for 8K because that technology is so far ahead of us in terms of gaming. But if that's something that drives your fancy, yes, it'll do that. It's just pointless. Memory, resolution, and frame rates, it's enough to add on $200 extra for the PS5 Pro. The question is, are you gonna get it? Look, I'm not one to try and break the bank on anything. And never would I promote something that I feel like isn't priced point to match the performance of the product. I do believe $700 is a very expensive piece of equipment to play video games. And also, I like to play video games at its highest performance available. So in my opinion, I would say that the PS5 Pro is price matched where it belongs, considering all of the additions that you get. Now, there is some debate saying, well, I don't get a disc drive. In the original PS5, I got a disc drive at $500. Why won't I have a disc drive at an additional $200? Well, here's the thing. The way technology is moving, especially in the gaming world, digital is just the thing of the future. It is going to be hard pressed to find a hard copy of a game in the coming future. I really believe digital or streaming has replaced any physical hard copy of anything, whether it's a movie, whether it's a game. And so I think PlayStation and Sony is just following suit. If you really want the disc, you can buy it as an add-on. And I think it's at about 79 or 80 bucks. And in talking about accessories, Sony has already released the specs and the look and the skin and the feel 30th anniversary editions. Now, if you talk about spendy and just you are in that collector's item realm of purchasing items, the PS5 Pro 30th anniversary edition might be in your lane. It is the same thing, just the skin of the original PlayStation. There will only be 12,300 units of the PS5 Pro 30th edition bundle in stock. So if you're a collector and you want to be one of those 12,300 people, let me be real with you, and please pay close attention to the next few words that I'm gonna tell you. You better be able to beat those bots. Bots have already guaranteed that they will get the PS5 Pro 30th anniversary edition before anybody else, and have already started selling tickets on eBay. If they're anything like November 2020, oh, they're already on it. Trust and believe. And so what do you get with the 30th anniversary bundle edition of the PS5 Pro? You get some cords, you get a sticker, you get a poster, and a cool sleek design of the original PlayStation for your PS5 Pro. And you can also get it for the PS5. If you are into an extra controller, dual edge controller, a skin, plates, and all that good old good jazz, along with the PlayStation Portal remote player, that PS5 Pro 30th anniversary bundle edition is gonna run you around $1,000. Again, if you're into collecting and if you're into having some nostalgia when you play your PS5 Pro, by all means, shoot for the moon. Because if you miss, you'll always be a star. You heard it here first from Dubs. I know the cons weren't really extensive because we haven't had time to get our hands on the PS5 Pro, so I can't really talk about the raw power or performance or load time, screen times, or anything like that until I get my hands on it. Once I do, I will let you know how great or worse it is than the PS5 and if it really is worth it. These are just the pre-initial thoughts of the specs that we were given. We won't have a chance to get our hands on it until November 7th, 2024. Pre-orders begin September 26th. PlayStation Direct will be shut down because no matter what the price is, it is Sony. And everybody and their mama knows in the gaming community, Sony makes a good product when it comes to gaming. So I have no doubt in my mind that this thing will sell out within the hour. And the bots have already taken over. And if you've liked your time here with DubCP on another drop video in 2024, go ahead and smash that like for me. Heck, if you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. It all helps me. And comment down below. Subscribe if you're brand new. I'm gonna be covering this PS5 Pro until I get one. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know what it was. It's your boy Dubs. CP. Here to do one thing and one thing only. And that's deuces. Make sure you tell somebody that you love them, man. You never know how crazy this world can get. Be kind to somebody. Smile.